Good day, Visible Change TV viewers. I'm Stan Magomani, your presenter. I always give you fresh content, you know. Today I'm interviewing Thembekile Makhubele. She's going to introduce herself and then tell us what she's doing, what, up to now. You know, I hear that she's been doing a lot of things. She's been engaging herself to many different things in her life. So she should tell us exactly what she's doing, and then I hope it will inspire someone out there. It will inspire someone in the rural areas. It will inspire someone in those places where people think that there are no possibilities, but it should make sure that you understand that there is a possibility. No, welcome to our show at Thembekile. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. My producers did not tell me more about you. Can you tell us who you are and what you're doing?
Okay, my name is Thembekile Makhubele. I'm affectionately known as Thembi. I'm originally from a village in Malamulele called Chitlelani, but residing now in Section B in Malamulele Township. I'm also based now in Polokwane. I'm working for a government institution, and I'm a mother of one. I am an owner of a soccer team called PHYILIMAK. It plays in the Collins Chabani Football Association. They call it Local Football Association. It's part of SAFA. And other than that, I've got other things that I'm doing. So I was told that today we're going to talk about soccer. So I guess we should focus on that for now.
Okay, no. Because I could imagine that if you tell me everything that you're doing, I will have to make follow up on everything. So I'm happy that today's podcast will be on soccer. So tell me, like you with the sport, when did you become interested in sporting activities?
In high school, I was actually a netball player. So even in primary school, actually, I was a netball player ever since. So I will say ever since I was young. During my primary school, my friends and I, her name is Ambani, we started teams like netball teams. Mine was called Zola and hers was called Blamba. And, you know, in villages, there will be like two sides of the village. So my side of the village will meet with her side of the village and we'll play netball. And even at school, I will play netball. Even when I was working, I was recruited to play for netball teams. So I've always been in sport and I've always loved soccer. I think at home, there was always this hype about, you know, big soccer teams playing. And that has made me also to have interest in soccer. So I felt as part of my community, you know, contribution, soccer can be one of those things that I can actually look into to assist the young boys to develop not only their teams, their skills, but also for me to be able to help them realize their dreams. So in 2013, I started one soccer team, which is now 8 years old. So yeah, it started way back when I was still young.
You know, I'll go into details on how the team is doing. But now, something comes to my attention. You know, especially in our African continent, we a patriotic or patriarchy society. You know, we believe that most societies in fact believe that men are more stronger, men are more, you know, they must take charge and everything. So, how did you find, you know, to be starting a team, a local team with young boys who feel like they might have more power than you in terms of discipline and respect and everything?
Okay, I think my character didn't see that as much of a challenge because I think throughout my working life, I have always been either the only woman, or there would be like more guys or more male figures around my workspace. To a point of supervising males only, or being in an environment where males are. So it was never much of a challenge, though there was a lot of negativity and challenges. Even the villagers themselves were not really receptive of the fact that as a woman I'm starting a soccer team. But from the team itself, they saw in me, and still do, a big sister and a mother figure. So we'll talk about anything and everything that concerns them. So it was not much more, there was not much reluctance from the team or the players themselves, but mostly from the outsiders and other, owners of the team, even from the football association itself, because we initially started playing in Venda. So there was like a lot of reluctance, and still there is. It's I think it's a work in progress. It's a continuous fight, if I were to call it that. So yeah, but for me, I think my character, being an assertive person and able to stand for myself, and having been groomed not to be apologetic about who I am, it was not really much of a challenge. I just took it on as something exciting to not necessarily prove a point, but to make a difference while proving a point that women can also do it.
Wow. In fact, I'm going to follow up on that also. Now, when maybe you go to play in other sides, like Uganda or anywhere, and then obviously, like your opponent, you see that the coach is a woman. Don't you feel like your team is marginalized somehow? That I know that we're going to defeat them because they've been coached by a woman. Like, don't you feel some division on them?
Okay, I'm not a coach. There is a technical team that is responsible. I'm the owner. So if it was a bigger team, even if it's still a small team, I would be called a chairman of the team. We will make sure that the team has got the kit and all the equipment that are required, and also getting people that are going to be assisting in terms of the technical side of things. But because of my love for the sport, it makes it easier for me to say, no, I don't like that style of play, or I don't like that style of football that you are playing. We don't want a scope and turn, we want to put the ball on the floor, and play. So it makes it easier for me to interact with them. But yes, I think during the first stages, whenever they saw me coming to the soccer field, whenever the team was playing, they would be like sort of mocking comments, not necessarily to me, but to the players, kind of telling them that, you are led by a woman. We'll see if you're gonna go a long way. Some will say, no, this team is not gonna even survive 6 months, and 6 months went by, and so they sort of, I think there's a lot of negativity around women being involved in this kind of a sport. Some have even asked me, why don't you start a ladies soccer team? And I said, no, I want to be in the male field, and there's nothing wrong with that, because I understand how it's supposed to be done. So yeah, there is still a lot of negativity and reluctance and mockery. Um, Unfortunately, it's the players at times who will experience the mockery, not necessarily myself, because I don't think people will have the guts to face me and tell me such kind of things.
Wow, nice. Uh, as you said, that people are asking you that what did you start a soccer team with ladies playing there? I'm going to, like, with my last questions, I think I'll also ask you something around that. But for now, like, when I was growing up, I was also like interested in soccer. I was also playing soccer, and then other than just playing, winning the games and everything, I saw uh, like soccer team as like as im- it was impacting it has a huge impact in our society, and it made us as young boys to grow up with a respect and discipline, and taking us out from drugs or from bad behavior. And so, how do you see you being involved in sports, making sure that you have positive impact around the
Okay, the first reason for getting involved was for the love of soccer and contribution to the community. But when I met the team players or the players themselves, I realized that most of them are not necessarily coming from well-off families. So in the beginning, the team was based in Chikelan. But because of the negativity and constant fights and other teams now getting involved because I think they felt threatened that there will be a team that will be competing with them and not necessarily, subscribing to what they look at soccer to be, being led by a man, for instance. I decided to move the team to Mavambe village. So as much as I was born in Shitlelane, but I grew up in Mavambe village, which is like 10 kilometers or so from the Malamulele Township, which is like my second home. So there was like we're very welcomed. And still, because of my understanding of the background of Mavambe being very hostile in some cases, I mean, that is one of the villages which is known to be a bit rough. I remember during the time of them fighting for the Collins Chabani municipality, it was one of these areas where the police would even be reluctant to go because of the way things are. So being there and seeing the kids now getting out of drinking alcohol and focusing on wanting to win games and getting promotion, and also, you know, doing well at school, some even going to varsity. So the idea now became, over and above assisting them to develop their skills in soccer, it will also be nice to see them develop educationally. So if one person goes to varsity and they come back, they will create a cycle of assisting those who are still going to varsity. We even attempted to look at bursaries. I remember there was one guy who passed mathematics quite well, and I tried to connect him because he wanted to do economics with some people that I know were economists. And to see them now doing like third year or fourth year, it's quite humbling and encouraging. We may not be financially contributing that much, but I think they become role models to the younger kids who are still playing, because we've got 28 players, Miss. So they become role model to say it's doable, even if I'm not coming from a well-off family. So the idea now is to develop them more over and above the skill on the educational side, and letting them become something in the community, and become role models to their fellow peers. So I think we may not have done much now, but that is the main goal, and that is something that we are working towards as we grow.
Oh, that's really is a very positive change. I would love to see that. Um, Visible Sensitive viewers, we are with Thembekile Makhubele, telling us about the soccer team and how it's learning or how they are impacting in the lives of the people around the community, and how the big dreams will be achieved. Now, Thembekile, they are like, sometimes there is young boys, like they're very skillful in terms of like when they're playing soccer and all that, but they don't uh, they lose interest in participating in the team, and mostly because of bullying. These young boys, when they're growing up, they bully each other. Whether someone is gifted, they have skills, but because of the constant bullying, they end up just wanting to leave the team. So then, how is your approach on that?
Fortunately, I think the team is quite blessed to have a technical team of people who have played soccer before. So the team manager is one of those people who played, I think, for almost, if not 10, 12 teams. And he was also part of the Dynamos team. He was also part of the, I think, the second, the team B of Lido Duva. So when he's with the boys, he's explaining things that he has experienced himself, and he's quite known as one of those skillful people who were playing soccer before. The coach is a doctor. He's a physiotherapist who was a goalkeeper even at varsity. So he speaks to them like somebody, as somebody, let me not say like, as somebody who actually lived it, knows what the problems are, probably experience the challenges that you're experiencing, being skillful. And I would see them sometimes when we go to play. I remember there was one tournament we invited where they were honoring the late Joyce Machamba, and during the intervals, he will go to the soccer field and play with them, like as a goalkeeper, just to show them, I used to do these things. I used to play. What during the very same tournament, one guy came and he asked, "Where are you coming from?" And they said, "No, Mavambe." I was just sitting there and observing, and the guy said, "I know Morgan Shabani, and this is the team manager." And he said, like, "This guy used to play soccer. This guy used to trouble us." And then they realized, oh, okay, so people even know him. But even though they know that he was skillful, he still remained humble, and he's successful. He's doing his business. He's running a business of carpentry, doing ceilings and doors and so forth. They see these people being successful, even though they were playing soccer. So I think within the team, we've got role models who have lived this life. So even those skillful kids get to be more, molded and to modeled to become responsible players without doing the wrongs. They will do it, but they get corrected in a manner that will allow them to grow within the team. So it becomes sort of a family of some sort that is allowing everybody with their mistakes to be corrected, but still grow and be assisted to achieve their dreams while they play soccer.
Wow, nice.
So yeah.
So I want to focus on your team now. What is the future? Like, are you planning to sell your skillful players, or you want to promote your team to participate in their leagues, PSL or whatever? I'm not really familiar with those. But what is the future of?
No, PSL is the ultimate goal. This past season, we had played so well, and we had reached the playoff round where we were going to be promoted to the next level of the league. But unfortunately, we were knocked out, I think, in the second last stage. So I think, yeah, the boys were like very disappointed. So now we have to regroup, start again, play, and see ourselves, getting promoted. And we're hoping that if all goes well, we're going to be promoted. We're not going to divulge on TV what are the plans for us to be able to go there, but we're working towards that. We've got two streams, the junior stream, which is under 16, and also the senior team. So the oldest will be around 24. That's the maximum. We don't go beyond that, because we want to groom them to a point where they'll be able to go with the team to the next level. And yes, there will be plans to look at how scouts. So I've been approached by several people who wanted to come and scout, sort of see them, how they play, and identify best players. But what I've realized is that in soccer, bigger teams will take these kids and frustrate them in some cases and let them, sit at the bench. and we believe we have it in ourselves as a team to groom them and to go with them all the way. Our players are not based only in Mavambe. There are some players who come from Palabura. There are players who come from other areas around surrounding villages, which makes us versatile and not necessarily focusing on the village. But we are now expanding and becoming a team that is going to allow every other skillful player to be part of our family. And the good thing is the team manager and the coach, we're looking at the same thing. And yeah, we see progress. We see progress. So yes, PSL is the ultimate goal. Selling, we wouldn't call it that. It will be affording them an opportunity, not necessarily only in South Africa. I'm already establishing connections with people in Europe that might come and look at them, or we would send videos on how they can. But it's not for us to make money, but to assist them to, achieve their goals. Already there are things that are being done, which I may not share with you, for them to access PSL teams, which we may not divulge. But we are working on that. And I'm grateful for the technical team and having people that have played the game and they know who to talk to and when to talk to, at what stage. So yeah, the PSL is the ultimate goal.
Wow. So now there are other like boys in our villages. We have Chikundi there, Gomani, Shimishoni, Salema. There are some boys there who are very skillful. So how did they come to join your team?
We usually have tournaments, ne? And we also planning to have sort of playoffs where we can allow the skillful players to come and be assessed. We haven't started yet because of the COVID-19. So we're hoping that we're gonna announce. They can actually join our Facebook page, which is PHYILIMAK FC, at PHYILIMAK FC, for them to have access to the details with regard to what the team is about to do, and the contact details of the team manager, because I'm not necessarily too involved in terms of those kind of things. So those are some of the platforms that they can access. And the email address also is philimakfc@gmx.com. That is one of the contact details that they can actually use. But the quicker one is the Facebook page, because every time both the team manager and the coach always have access to the messages that get sent in there. And that's how we got some of the players. But some of the players are sourced by both the team manager and the coach.
Now, to our viewers, we are going to put the information on the screen on how to contact the team manager and the coach. And then if there's always someone out there who's really interested in participating in the team and who want to see their potential in the team, they can speak to the relevant people, and then you'll see them on TV one day if they think. So I think I'm out of questions in terms of like the team. Now, I just want to make follow up on the questions that I've already said that I'll make follow up. You mentioned something in the beginning that you were playing netball, and I think that there are so many girls who are gifted at home. They are, and some of them they lose it because of like the poverty situations at home. They end up getting themselves involved in things that they were not supposed to do. So I think netball was going to keep them away from bad things. Then why did you just leave? I don't know whether you have left netball, but is there any future plans on recruiting young girls to participate in netball? Or
Well, I've never thought about it. Um, because I feel it's sort of a cliche kind of an approach that because I'm a woman, I have to look at the girl child. And my argument has always been, what about the boy child? As much as we say there's a lot of soccer teams and the focus when it comes to sport will be on the boys, but nothing beyond just them playing soccer is being done for the boys. So my focus, honestly, I think because I'm also a mother of a boy, so my focus is actually on building a responsible boy who will become a man that will be responsible and give back to the community and not harm the very same girls that we are grooming and making them bigger than the boys, if we may call it that, because they get more opportunities than the boys these days. And I feel we are building sort of resentment towards the boys, for them to think, as long as you're not a woman, you don't get these opportunities. You don't get to be supported like the girls will be supported. So look, it's something that I can look into. I love netball. I have stopped playing since I came back to Pulukane. So yeah, I will think about it, but it's not necessarily something that I am working towards. One thing that I can explore can be cricket. Because I think that is an avenue that has never been tapped into. I'm already in talks with some people and asking them how we can, start it not in the urban areas, but in the rural areas, like we are doing at Mavambe village. So that is an area that I can explore. Netball, yes, I will look into it. It will be just a by the way thing, but not necessarily one of the goals I'm looking into for now. But cricket, yeah, that's something I'm really going to research more about and work towards building that, because I feel that will be an opportunity for our people back in the villages to experience things that they see on TV and sometimes don't even understand. Unlike in the Eastern Cape, where they take rugby as one of their main sport, we only have soccer. So having cricket around those areas will actually be good, and giving the girls and boys probably an opportunity to explore other sports. And hockey too, we don't have those. It's soccer and soccer all the way. So if you can have hockey, you can have, cricket. Cricket is actually one of my second babies that I'm going to be looking into.
And to make it a good luck on that, we would love to see that coming into existence. I think it will help us a lot. I think I would love cricket because it seems like the fans, they are enjoying it a lot. So, but when I'm looking there, I don't understand anything. So I think for you to at least push this idea into rural areas, you will be able to reach some of us and be able to explain on what is happening in there. Now, I think towards the end of the interview, maybe one last question, and then I'll give you the opportunity to speak to your fans, the people, the communities, and everyone. Now, there's someone out there who wants to start a soccer team, the ladies soccer team. Now, but these ladies, they when they're being recruited and start playing, then they start to be labeled that they are lesbians, they are not girl enough, why they play for because soccer somehow, especially in Africa, is still seen as a sport that is played by boys or by men. So, what is your perception on that? What is your comment on that?
I think it's a stereotype kind of an approach of looking into life, because if we were to look at it like that, then all the women were supposed to be at home and not necessarily working. We're not even supposed to be sitting in boardrooms and becoming CEOs or, you know, anything that will be of leadership. But things have changed, and I think women, as much as their role would be to be support if they are married to their husbands, but if there's an opportunity for you to be able to lead in different spheres of life, and if soccer is one of those, I think that will be great. One of the advices I can give will be, don't get into soccer or own any sport team for you to make money like a quick buck. It sucks money out of your pocket, because if you don't have any sponsors, you have to make sure they've got a soccer ball to start with. They've got, you know, soccer boots, they've got kit, they've got cones, they've got bibs, all those kind of things, nets for the goalposts, you know, every other thing that is needed in a team, you'll have to pay it yourself, until such time you probably get a sponsor, which is very rare. If you are in the lower leagues, they would usually, and SAFA is not necessarily playing any role in making sure that those lower level teams are also developed, because my belief is that SAFA, SAFA can get you know, skillful players also from those lower teams for the Bafana team. And there's probably also a need for SAFA to go beyond just looking at Gauteng, KZN, and Western Cape, where there are, you know, cities or bigger cities or metros. They need to also come this side where we are and look at our kids and at our boys, who are actually quite good, but they're not given an opportunity. So as a girl player, wow, that is I've never looked at myself as having to own a girl soccer team. But observing them from a distance, there's this lady who usually would commentate in Super Sports every time there is, I've forgotten her name. She's looking ladylike. I think it's a choice for you to look like a boy, and we cannot judge based on that. There might be people who are homosexual, there are people who are not, who are heterosexual, and it's a choice. The sexual orientation of a person does not necessarily, should not necessarily be attached to the sports that the person is playing, because people might be behaving like a boy, but not necessarily lesbians. So it's a stereotype kind of an approach of looking at life. I think they're just human beings like anybody else, or sportsmen like anybody else, and they'll be looked at just like that, and not try to analyze what is their sexual orientation, because that is actually not our business. There are soccer players that have not necessarily divulged that they're actually homosexual, and they're males, but nobody says anything about that because of them being males and they are playing. It is like acceptable that they are boys. So why should we label the girls or the ladies who are playing soccer for them to be homosexual? So for me, it's just a stereotype. I don't look at them like that. If I happen to watch Banyana Banyana, it will be out of admiration of the way how skilled they are. I would usually watch when they play like, you know, international games, and observe how good they are, just for the love of soccer, nothing else, and no judgment, because I'm in the same space. Maybe one day I will have a female soccer team. I don't know, but right now that is not the plan.
Wow, nice, very good response on that. We should not label, we should not get too attached to knowing the sexual orientation of a person because they are really playing a different sport. I think you have answered this very, very well. So because you have inspired me so much, I feel like I want to start to make some calls now and get my boys at home to start a soccer team. What could be the challenges that I'll experience? What are the challenges that you're experiencing to be owning this soccer team?
I think the challenges is one, the soccer pitch itself is not, it's not actually safe for anybody to play in. And I don't think municipalities are putting any effort to making sure that soccer pitches in villages are at the level of, are at the not necessarily professional level, but at the level that even when a kid is playing there, they will not get hurt. So risks are when they're playing there, they can easily get broken. The soccer boots get, quickly finished in terms of the spikes. They can easily get hurt, man. I mean, if you fall on a gravel road and there's a lot of stones, like in our soccer pitch, for instance, there's a side where there are stones. You can feel for the kids when they're playing there that what if they get it? But they get used to it and they don't care anymore because of the love of soccer. So I think that is one area that government can actually look into and assist in making sure that the soccer pitch in all the villages where the LFAs are attended to and constantly cleaned up. What we do on our side is to have the community volunteering to come and clean for us. We used to pay them, but now because they see that the boys are doing well, they just volunteer and come and clean up around the soccer field and also in the soccer field, just to make sure that the kids play in a very, kind of safe environment. Another challenge would be you need to have, I won't say you need to be financially sound, but you need to be in a position to be able to provide basic things like your soccer ball, your some don't even have soccer boots. They exchange. Like when one player goes out, they will give the other player the soccer boots for them to play. So you should be in a position to have sort of enough money to pay to buy those kind of things, because it all comes from your pocket. And if your technical team does not understand what is expected of the team, or they don't see the vision of the team, they may not necessarily assist. In my case, the technical team also assist. If they see something is finished, they will buy it themselves without asking me. Transport is one of the challenges. You will see, like here in Polokwane, I will see a lot of teams having, those buses. And I know that Department of Sports sometimes assist them in getting, those equipment and also getting sponsors from low to buy those buses. In our case, we'll rely on bakkies. Sometimes you'll hire a taxi. Okay, for our team, there are people who own taxis who will sometimes volunteer to take the team. And there are people who also have bakkies and they will assist in carrying the supporters and also the team players. The coach has got a SUV, a bakkie. He will sometimes carry some of the players with. But if you do not have that, it all comes from your pocket. And in some cases, the players themselves will pay for the transport. So those are some of the challenges that we experience. Our lower level team, like the under 16, we gave them a kit from the senior team. But because the shots were a bit bigger, out of the love, they put, I mean, they're just small kids. They put money together and they bought shots for themselves. When we were still trying to put money together for them to get, the kit, you just be appreciative of the fact that the community, the players themselves see what you are doing and they come on board. But if you do not have that, it becomes a very difficult sphere to maneuver and to succeed in. Most teams usually do not succeed because of that. So in our case, we are blessed. If there are tournaments, I will get calls and they'll be asking, can we register the team to play in specific tournaments? I'm like, oh, okay. I don't have money now. Like, no, we're going to pay. You will give us later. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. Let them go and play. And I'll get feedback, they're good. We're going to register them for so let the community also be part of the whole project. It shouldn't be you wanting to be known and wanting to make money out of the kids, but let it be about development. And if the community see what you're doing, they will participate in that. So yeah, basically those are some of the challenges. For me, the painful part is when a player gets hurt to a point of having a broken leg, for instance. And because our players are like quite small, they are very tiny and young. Even when I say they are 24, some of them are not even, most of them are 21. So you can imagine if they get broken, now the pain of them not playing, the pain of them sitting with the plaster, the pain of them now, of us having now to assist in them going to school, paying for transport, is additional costs which we didn't budget for. So we always put that as part of our budget to make sure that should there be such, what is the mitigating factor or approach that we're going to take as part of making sure. So we usually put a budget in place. It may not be accurate, but it's just estimates to indicate how much will be needed for this and how much do we need. If we've got, like in our case, we've got 3 kids, now we've got 4, then we'll give the other one to the lower team. Okay, now we are working on buying another one that is branded nicely, a new design, to excite also the players and tell them that we appreciate what you are doing, as much as we may not pay you the money for playing, but we appreciate what you are doing. Hopefully in time, and as we go up in the structures of the league, of SAFA, we'll be able to pay them a stipend of some sort as a way of saying thank you. But look, we've got a very dedicated team, that I can tell you. Very dedicated team. They love the team. They don't just play for the sake of playing. They fight themselves to make sure that the team win, sometimes without being motivated. I know of almost four games where the coach was not there and there was only the assistant coach, who's also very dedicated. They won all the games. They never lost a game in the past season. So that should tell you how much. And they lost at the last time when they were supposed to be promoted. So yeah, it's a blessing for me, and I'm quite grateful and appreciative of all of them, the technical team and the players, and also the parents for allowing us to have their kids. We've got 900 and something followers on our Facebook page, and it's growing. So we get so much invites to a point of not even accepting them, because we realize that the players will be fatigued and tired, and also protecting them from COVID, making sure that they don't get infected. So yeah, that's us.
I know I got everything, and I think that I have to really look at myself, look at the community, look at everyone if I want to start the team. I think if there's someone out there who's really interested to start a team or playing soccer, I think it's Thembekile Makhubele has like explained almost everything that is needed. I think there won't be a stage to give you more information. If you want to ask, we are going to put the information on the screen, and then if you want to ask some of the questions, because we cannot cover every aspect. Thembekile has given me a lot of things that I wanted to make follow up on, but because of time, unfortunately, I'm not going to make follow up. But I'll put the information on the screen. If you want more information, you want to ask some questions, I think they will be available to assist you. And thank you very much to our viewers watching the channel. Continue to subscribe and continue to ask your friends, your families to subscribe in our YouTube channel, in our Facebook page. All the details will be put on the screen. And thank you very much, Thembekile, for your time, and also to give us, to be open, and give us all this knowledge that you just presented to us. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, and allow me to thank the team again. I always do. They've got WhatsApp groups, so I'll always, ask to post messages and then leave after that. But let me appreciate them and be grateful for having people like them, and also the surrounding communities that are supporting us, and our fans at large. I'm told that there are fans who are now asking for a gear, like things that they can wear, which shows that they are fans of PHYILIMAK FC, which we are working towards, and we appreciate that quite a lot. But thank you so very much for having us and for granting us an opportunity to talk about our dreams and what we want to achieve.
Thank you very much. And next time when we meet, maybe we'll make some follow-ups on some of the aspects that you have explained. But also, you
Yeah.
mentioned that there's some other things that you do. Probably there are even other businesses that you're involved in. I think my producers will make follow-ups on that, and then we can speak to you and motivate people out there that if you're someone who thinks that it is not possible, they can see from Thembekile that now it's possible as a woman to go into this space and make it possible. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you. Have a lovely day.